Bonjour et bienvenue à la 4e semaine de cours. Cette semaine, vous apprenez à parler de l'identité, la personnalité et l'apparence physique. So in this session, you will learn how to describe somebody's personality and appearance, and you'll learn to say how old you are, ask someone how old they are, say where you're from, find out where somebody is from, and you will also learn about the francophonie. Francophonie just means French-speaking countries and countries that belong to the Francophonie organization. And you will learn how to place French-speaking countries on a map. You'll also register on Duolingo, which is a website that will help you learn French, that is separate from Blackboard and Central. So here's the content for this session. You'll first start with looking at your homework feedback and test feedback. So the homework feedback in Central. To find this, you go under My Tools and Results. You will have a list of chapters and sections. So you pick the chapter that you like, first textbook or workbook, then your chapter, then a section of the chapter. You can choose to view all feedback for chapter 1. And all of the assignments that have your instructor feedback, either written or oral, will have a little paper with a clip there on the left, and when you put your mouse over it, it will say the assignment has instructor comments. That's how you know which ones your instructor has graded by hand and has given you comments for. Then you will look at your feedback for your test in Blackboard as well, to make sure that you got all your answers correct, or see why you still need help on some of the answers. Then you will go to the francophonie.org website, so Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie. It was created in 1970, and it was created to unite all French-speaking countries. As you probably know, France had many colonies in Africa and Asia, and some over towards the eastern part of the Middle East. And the process of the colonies becoming independent starting in the 1960s happened very fast. From 1960s to the late 70s, most of the colonies were independent. So a lot of these countries had one unifying point, was that they spoke French. And so their mission of the organization, the Francophonie organization, is to reinforce the solidarity between all the member states. And as you can see, French is the 9th language most spoken in the world, so it ranks pretty high. English, of course, is first, and then, as you can guess, Spanish and some of the Asian languages are most spoken. So you will play a game, and you're going to try to place as many countries as you can on a map. You'll click on Commencer in the green box, and then you can make the map bigger or smaller. In 1 minute, you have to identify as many countries as you can. This is not graded, it's just for fun, to see how well you know your geography, discover many new countries, and discover which ones are actually French-speaking. So you'll be really surprised by the amount. The next thing you'll do this week is to look at the list of events that you can attend this semester, to write your international cultural event report on. So this report is only due in sessions 14 at the end of the semester, towards the end, and you have to attend one event, international event, to write a report on. So the list of events is in the resources folder here in Blackboard, as well as the guidelines to write your report, but you will actually turn it in session 14. So if you're somebody who likes to work ahead, you should start looking at the list of events now that your instructor has compiled for you, and you will be able to attend one and write your report. You can turn it in as early as you want to, but the deadline is the due date for session 14. We'll move over to the central work for this week. So we will start chapter 2. And this week we cover the section Communication directe et vocabulaire interactif. Communication en direct est divisée en 3 sections. Tu as quel âge ou quel âge avez-vous? Tu es d'où ou d'où êtes-vous? Quelle est ta nationalité? ou quelle est votre nationalité? Et puis après, la section vocabulaire interactif n'est pas divisée. Je vais passer maintenant sur Central pour vous montrer le début du chapitre 2. Voilà le début du chapitre 2 sur Central. Comment sont-elles? This painting is by Paul Gauguin from 1892 and he was painting two women. So the title is Comment sont-elles? This is tricky because in French this is how are they? But remember, to ask somebody how they're doing, you say comment vas-tu? Comment vont-elles? With a V would be how are they doing? The question here is comment sont-elles? And that means how are they physically? Describe their physical traits, describe their appearance. So this is something to remember. In English you say I am well for I'm doing well. In French, if you start your sentence with je suis, which is I am, you're going to say your age or your appearance or your traits like je suis patient, I am patient, and so on. Je vais commencer la section communication en direct, qui est divisée en 3 sections. Donc, tu as quel âge? C'est la première section. To ask somebody's age. Tu as quel âge? Informal. Quel âge avez-vous? Formal. The answer is j'ai 19 ans. J'ai 55 ans. You have to include an. An means years. So literally, I have 19 years. In English, you say I am 19. In French, you say I have 19 years. And you could not say just j'ai 19. You have to say j'ai 19 ans. So the whole sentence. Tu as quel âge? J'ai 19 ans. Quel âge avez-vous? J'ai 55 ans. Deuxième section. Tu es d'où? Tu es d'où? D'où êtes-vous? Tu es d'où is informal to say where are you from. D'où êtes-vous is formal to say where are you from. La réponse peut être je suis de Montréal ou je viens de France. Je suis né à Paris, mais maintenant j'habite à Marseille. So in this chapter we're going to learn the adjective agreement, which is the main point in all of French grammar. And it starts right here. Je suis né. So if you're a boy or a man, you say je suis né, ending with E accent aigu, à Paris. If you're a girl or lady, you say je suis née à Paris. It doesn't change the pronunciation much, but you do add an E at the end of né if you're a girl. That's called adjective agreement, and we'll come to this later. You can also say près de, which is near, pas très loin de, not very far from. Je suis de Beauvais, c'est une petite ville près de Paris. Je viens d'Antibes, pas très loin de Nice. So, près de is near, pas très loin de is not very far from. La troisième section. Quelle est ta nationalité ou quelle est votre nationalité? Quelle est ta nationalité, Marc? Je suis français. Quelle est votre nationalité, madame? Je suis française. Donc la réponse, je suis français. This is Mark talking, this is a man. Ici, quelle est votre nationalité, madame? It's a lady answering, je suis française. So here again, I just talked about né, français, je suis français. When Mark talks, français ends with just an S, that's the neutral form, masculine form. The lady answers, je suis française, adding an E at the end, making it feminine. This is not an active part of your learning, you're just recognizing this right now, so you're not expected to do this perfectly. Just concentrate on the questions and the answers. You can also say where you're from originally, even though that may not be where you're living now. Par exemple, je suis d'origine marocaine, mais je suis né en France. Je suis de nationalité française. This is, I'm originally from Morocco, but I was born in France. I am of French citizenship or nationality. Voilà une petite note sur la colonisation. Donc je parlais de la colonisation tout à l'heure avec les anciennes colonies en Amérique et en Asie, qui sont maintenant des pays francophones. Voici la liste de pays et les langues, aussi les adjectifs de nationalité. Donc dans les pays, on a l'Allemagne. L'Allemagne, I'm going to read all those for you because there's no play button for you to hear them, and I think it's important for you to hear them. L'Allemagne, as you can see, all the countries are masculine or feminine too. So they all come with their own article. L'Allemagne, il parle allemand. Il parle l'allemand. Il est allemand. Elle est allemande. So somebody who is from Germany, il est allemand. He is German. Elle est allemande. She is German. You see, he is German, she is German. In English, they're both German. Where in French, if it's a man, il est allemand. If it's a woman, elle est allemande. And the language also has an article, l'allemand. Il parle l'allemand. Elle parle l'allemand. L'Angleterre, il est anglais. Elle est anglaise. Il parle l'anglais. La Belgique, il est belge. Elle est belge. Il parle le français et le flamand. Le Canada, il est canadien. Elle est canadienne. Il parle le français et l'anglais. La Chine, il est chinois. Elle est chinoise. Il parle le chinois. Les États-Unis, il est américain. Elle est américaine. Il parle l'anglais. L'Espagne, il est espagnol. Elle est espagnole. Il parle l'espagnol. La France, il est français. Elle est française. Il parle le français. L'Inde, il est indien. Elle est indienne. Il parle le hindi et l'anglais. L'Irlande, il est irlandais. Elle est irlandaise. Il parle l'anglais. L'Italie, il est italien. Elle est italienne. Il parle l'italien. Le Japon, il est japonais. Elle est japonaise. Il parle le japonais. Le Maroc, il est marocain. Elle est marocaine. Il parle l'arabe et le français. Le Mexique, il est mexicain. Elle est mexicaine. Il parle l'espagnol. Le Québec, il est québécois. Elle est québécoise. Il parle le français. La Russie, il est russe. Elle est russe. Il parle le russe. So for most of you, you will fall into this category. Je suis américain. So if you're a man, you're going to say je suis américain. If you're a woman, you're going to say je suis américaine. And you're going to mostly say je parle l'anglais for your discussion board. Il parle anglais, elle parle anglais. Le mystère de la langue basque, you should read this. It's interesting feature how nobody knows where the Basque language comes from. The Basque region is between France and Spain in the mountains, and their language is not derived from Latin. So it's really interesting to not know where a language still comes from. I want to come back on this just a second because there are several ways to say. You can say il parle bien l'allemand. He speaks well. He speaks German well. Or il parle bien allemand. So you can use the article, but you can also use without the article. So you can use the verb parler. Here it says without the definite article. You can also use with. Il parle l'anglais. Il parle anglais. And you cannot hear it very much. Voilà, je passe à la section vocabulaire interactif. Voilà. And here you can click on all of the little icons, sound icons, to hear all of the adjectives. So I will read them quickly for you, but you can listen to them again and again. Aisé ou riche. Beau heureux, faible, fort, grand, gros, jeune, laid, méchant, mince, pauvre, petit, sédentaire, sportif, sympa, triste, vieux. If you cannot tell what the adjectives mean by the pictures, then you should look up their meaning, because you will be tested on them using the same illustration, so you should know what the illustrations mean. If not, go ahead and make sure you look them up in the dictionary. A good dictionary is wordreference.com, so you can just type that in and look up a word from English to French, French to English, and from English into many other languages. Voilà des traits physiques. Elle a les cheveux noirs, châtains, gris, blonds, roux. And if you say in the first person, j'ai les cheveux noirs, châtains, gris, blonds, roux. Elle a les yeux bruns, noisettes, marron, bleu, vert. So if you were to translate this very literally, you would say, she has the hair, plural form, black, brown, gray, blonde, red. They're all in plural form because there's more than one hair. So in English, when you say, she has black hair, in French we say, she has the hair black, and both the hair and black are plural. Same for the eyes, because you have more than one eye. So she has the eyes brown. This is also brown, hazel brown. Une noisette is a hazelnut. That might help you. Marron is also dark brown. Bleu, blue. Vert, green. So, elle a les yeux, she has the eyes. Brown, hazelnut, dark brown, blue, and green. You see right away that noisette doesn't have an S and marron doesn't have an S, because those two are invariable, which means they do not change the form in singular and plural, but all the other ones are in the plural form. So this might help you. When you're going to describe yourself on the discussion board, you're going to use je suis quelqu'un de, meaning I am somebody who is, and so on. Je suis quelqu'un de. Donc par exemple, je suis quelqu'un de beau. Je suis quelqu'un de jeune. Je suis quelqu'un de mince. Je suis quelqu'un de triste. This is a formula or sentence you can use whether you're a man or a woman. Starting with je suis quelqu'un de, you use the masculine or the neutral form of the adjective, so you don't have to learn to make them feminine quite yet. This is coming later. That is just a side note. Here are some different colors: blanc, bleu, brun, gris, jaune, orange, rose, rouge, vert, violet. As a trivia question, I wonder how many of you know the colors of the French flag. So in English you say the American colors are red, white, and blue. In French we say bleu, blanc, rouge. Blue, white, red. The French flag is bleu, blanc, rouge, so it's 3 vertical stripes. Bleu, blanc, rouge is the colors of the Revolution. France became independent in 1789. That was the year of the French Revolution. Not became independent, but independent from their kings. Broke away from a kingdom system to a republic. The republic was founded a few years later. And so it's funny to notice that France is actually a younger country than the United States, because the American Revolution inspired the French Revolution. It was a few years before the French Revolution. Voilà, c'est tout ce qu'il y a pour Central cette semaine. Je repasse sur Blackboard, juste au cas où j'ai manqué quelque chose. Ah oui, Duolingo. You should register in Duolingo. You're going to put your username in the discussion board. So first register in Duolingo. with your email and create a password and create an alias or a username, basically. My username, you have it up there, your instructor's username. Then you're going to put yours up in the discussion board so that everybody will be able to add you as a friend. Then you have the French discussion board too. So this is where you're going to introduce yourself and also write your Duolingo username. This is, for example, what you can write. So you have to write something about the 6 points here, and it can be very short. Keep it short and simple, but as grammatically accurate and correct as you can. Par exemple, j'ai 29 ans, je suis de Spa, une ville en Belgique, je suis belge, je parle français, anglais et un peu allemand et espagnol. Je suis quelqu'un de grand, jeune et pauvre. J'ai les cheveux bruns et les yeux bleus. So start with your age. J'ai tel et tel an. Je suis de, in your city. Souvent c'est en Indiana ou en Illinois. Je suis américain ou américaine. Je parle anglais. Parfois je parle anglais, espagnol, etc. And so on. So it would be very nice for you to be able to see what your other classmates write, and don't necessarily inspire you or copy what your classmates write, because it's not always correct. So make sure that you go by what you believe is correct. So make sure you do all your central homework before you start your discussion board. Voilà, c'est tout pour cette semaine. Bonne semaine et à bientôt!